Hey y'all. God, I'm gonna miss that. At least I'll never hear it the same way again. Just like I'm sure none of you guys will. My name's Adam. Longtime friend of Danny's. Former supervisor. And someone I like to believe that he called family. Really sorry I couldn't be there in person. And I really wanted to be. Life kind of had other plans for me this last few days. If you can't tell, I've come down with a little bit of a cold on top of it. So I wanted to do what I felt was right and offer a tribute to Danny, even though I can't be there. So Danny and I met about 8 years ago playing a video game called The Division. And for those of you who don't know, Danny was an avid video gamer. And it was a unique experience getting to know Danny. And there's going to be a few entertaining videos that I am sharing with Melissa that you're all welcome to enjoy later that tell the story of how I met Danny. But suffice it to say, it was kind of just very organic and it felt right at the time. So we developed a relationship through the years, playing video games, sharing stories, the things that made us the same, the things that made us different, you know, family, work life, values, things that mattered to us in the world. And it's funny how you find out people from 700 or 800 miles away share a lot of the same views of the world you do. And you get to know them in their truest form because you're interacting with them from so far away. And what made Danny unique was how much he cared about his family, his faith, his genuine honesty. And if I had to sum Danny up in 3 words, that's kind of what it would be: determined, devoted, and honest. And I don't think there's a single person sitting in that building right now that could disagree with any of them. And those are the types of people we need in this world, and those are the types of people we have too few of. Danny was always talking about his family, sharing stories about him, and I'm going to call her Mama because for the first 7 years, that's what I knew her as. But Melissa to the rest of you. And we developed a relationship about Mama and kids and my wife and my kids and our video game communities and our friends and all the people that we enjoyed interacting with. And Danny would absolutely just rave about his family, from the frustrations to the celebrations to the pride to the excitement to wanting to give them everything he always dreamed they wanted and that he might not have ever had. Danny loved bourbon almost as much as his family. And that's probably why we really got along, because we shared a lot of good stories over a lot of good pours of bourbon when we were playing video games together. And some of those stories were about work, a lot of them were about family, a lot of them were about life. But his wife, his faith, those things were ever-present themes in those conversations. And Danny was about as blue collar as they could come. And I loved every minute of it, because those tend to be the most honest and genuine people you'll deal with. So when I had a job open up at a place I work called Jayco here in northern Indiana, I reached out to Danny because I thought he would be a perfect fit for our team, for our company, for the general area. It's very laid back up here. It's very traditional, a lot of Amish people, very rural, just fit Danny. And I needed someone who could connect with our internal customers and our workforce and just not miss a beat. And I'll tell you what, he didn't miss a beat when he decided to come up here and take this job, because he came up here to provide a life for his family that he had been trying to provide for the last several years we talked. And Danny made an impact immediately. He was really easy to motivate. All I had to do was tell Danny he couldn't do it, and he'd find a way to get it done. And those types of people, again, are the people you want to be involved in your life, your relationships, your friendships, and honestly, your workforce. And it was really exciting to have someone who genuinely cared about people to be a part of our team here in Indiana at Jayco. And the Jayco family embraced Danny because he exhibited the qualities that we value. Our company's #1 corporate value is to love and honor God. And if you guys look around you in that building today, you all know Danny did that. And the joy on his face when he found out that was one of our values, I will never forget. And he cherished that. And he cherished the relationships he made up here almost as much as they cherished him. So when Danny found out he was going to have to head back home to North Carolina, we had a rally cry go out across the campus. And that rally cry was to raise money to make sure him and Melissa could get home and have a little bit of money in their pocket to take care of the expenses that were going to come up because he wasn't going to be able to go back to work. And what a rallying cry it was, let me tell you. Our executive vice president, Devon Miller, decided he was going to generously match the dollar-for-dollar donations that our maintenance team took out of their pocket to the tune of $3,000 out of his own money because of the respect and the admiration he had for that man. That speaks volumes to his character and his commitment. But it doesn't stop there, you guys. Our maintenance team decided they wanted to do more. And they took it upon themselves to organize a fundraiser of Border Pit chicken and potatoes. And they were going to sell as many of those as they could and donate the profits to the family seated before you. Y'all, when I tell you it was no small undertaking, it was no small undertaking. We went from a trunk load of chicken and potatoes to a truckload of chicken and potatoes to a van load of chicken and potatoes to a box truck. They sold $10,000 worth of chicken because of the impression Danny left on them and the respect they had for him. And you can't put into words how mind-blowing that is. That someone who was with us for 5 months made that kind of an impression on people who had never met him before. But my favorite story that came out of that wasn't just the fact our team took up the initiative or the money that was raised. It was that our CEO, Ken Walters, paid out of his own pocket for all of the remaining food to donate to Danny's cause. Y'all, Danny had never met Ken Walters. Ken Walters had only heard stories. And all the stories he heard are probably the reason you're all gathered there today. They were about an awesome man who did awesome things. These are the times we really stop and reflect on what family means. And, you know, it's not a goodbye. It's not a so long. It's a thank you. A thank you for facing your final battle with the courage too few of us would have had. A thank you for going before us to prepare a place to greet us in heaven. It's a thank you for being an example of what courage is, of what love is, what commitment is, and what selflessness is. But most of all, it's a thank you for letting me, for letting you, and you way back there be a part of your journey, whether it was for a lifetime, like your parents, for 30 plus years like Melissa, a couple of decades like your kids, or just several short years like your gaming friends and family. Danny, I love you, brother. And your time on this earth may have been short, but your impact lasted more than a lifetime. And there's only one way I can think to remember you right now. So with that, thank you all for having me. God bless you. God bless you in your time of grief. And God bless Danny's journey.